standing by live at the Little League field in Northwest Las Vegas. And Dana, they've actually planned a moment of silence for him tonight.
Yeah, Nina, all 8 teams here at Mountain Ridge at the Little League here will hold that moment of silence in about an hour. Meanwhile, members of Benjamin's team here, the Rangers, are going to wear his #1 on their jerseys all season long. I'm standing next to Cody. You remember Benjamin, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Did you like him? Yeah?
Uh-huh.
And you miss him, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Cody, thank you. I appreciate it. Meanwhile, we talked to Benjamin's grandmother, Joyce Wasden, today, and she saw Detloff get arrested on television last night.
I'm very sad for that man. I'm sadder for his children and his family, but and I don't know why he fled. I'm relieved that it's done. I'm sorry for him. I'm sorry for the situation.
Joyce Wasden thinks the person responsible for causing the accident that killed her daughter Holly and grandson Ben owes something, but leaves it up to the courts to decide what that is.
I can tell you I don't want to see him rot in prison. I don't want to see his family abused because of this. I just want to heal from it.
On the advice of his attorney, Mitchell Detloff hid from police for 3 days, waiting for his bail hearing Friday morning, but officers were determined to get him. His attorney says Detloff is innocent until proven guilty, saying the accident may not have been his client's fault.
I don't know whose fault that collision was. And I don't think anyone else does at this point in time. Everyone is speculating that it's my client's fault. And it may be, but we don't know that yet.
And even if it was Detloff's fault, Yampolsky says we should keep it in perspective.
Did my client go out and hack people to death? No. Did he try and kill somebody? No. Did he shoot somebody? No. My client is not a monster.
Benjamin Barton's father, Jim Barton, was also in the accident, but he is doing very well at UMC. Started in critical condition, but today he came out of a coma, actually came out of the coma yesterday, and is expected to make a full recovery physically. Yesterday, for the first time, though, he found out that his wife Holly and young son Benjamin were killed in that accident, so it will take a lot longer for him to heal emotionally. Reporting live, I'm Dana Wagner. Nina, back to you.
All right, Dana, thank you. Mitchell Detloff will be in court tomorrow. Prosecutors are expected to ask for his bail to be set at $4 million. Detloff's attorney is fighting for something much lower than that.
She is accused of killing her millionaire husband to get his money, and now a jury has to decide if the evidence proves she did it. Kim Capozzo joins us live from the Clark County Courthouse. Kim, the murder trial for Margaret Rudin went on for 9 weeks. It could take this jury a while to sort through everything they saw and heard.
It certainly could. They started today at 12:30, and there's no way of telling how long exactly they could deliberate. But if we compare it to another high-profile murder case being the Binion trial, those jurors deliberated for 8 days. And in this case, no matter how long they take or what they decide, they will change Margaret Rudin's life.
It's unfair to the state.
No, it isn't. It's unfair to Mrs. Rudin, Judge.
Asking Mr. Pataro to conduct himself like a lawyer.
Not start yelling, Mr. Pataro. I made a ruling and it sticks.
We've seen plenty of fireworks in the courtroom, but these players are no longer at center stage. The jurors who once sat in this box are now the focus, this woman's fate in their hands. If the jury finds Margaret Rudin guilty of all charges, she could spend the rest of her life in prison. At a minimum, she would do 22 years. She never took the stand in her defense, but she is professing this.
I am innocent.
The jurors have not been sequestered in this case, and we don't expect them to be sequestered during deliberations either. That, of course, is up to a judge. If they do not have a verdict for us today or tomorrow, a lot of people are asking, are they going to deliberate over the weekend? The judge will make that decision tomorrow. I'm Kim Capozzo reporting live. Jim, back to you.
Kim, thank you. These jurors are considering 3 counts, including murder with a deadly weapon, accessory to murder, and wiretapping.
Now, over the course of the Margaret Rudin trial and other high-profile trials, we've come to know how Judge Joseph Bonaventure runs his courtroom.
Just saw some of that in Kim's piece, and as News 3's Scott Hawes reminds us now, he's a no-nonsense judge who isn't afraid to speak his mind when he sees the need for order in the court.
Shh, be quiet, madam.
You weren't even trying to get high.
Don't be stupid. You want to argue, don't come into my court.
No.
Shh.
Who needs Judge Jerry, Judge Joe, or even Judge Judy when we have Judge Joseph Bonaventure?
You understand that?
That's fine, Judge.
Don't be start yelling at me, I'm telling you. I'm
Your
sick
Honor,
of your yelling.
I don't appreciate you yelling at me, Judge.
Well, that's too bad. You don't know. Don't ever do that again. You understand that? Now get out of here.
Over the last few years, Judge Bonaventure has had as much, if not more, face time than many politicians, as he's had to oversee some of the biggest trials Clark County has ever seen.
I understand. You're doing very well, Miss Avers, and please, let's just get through this.
From the Jeremy Strohmeyer trial to the unprecedented Ted Binion murder trial.
Doctor, can I ask you a question? I don't know if it's coming from my brain or my heart, but my stomach's saying it's time to take lunch.
No, I didn't say that.
You never told me that?
No, I didn't say that.
I don't even want to bother with you. I don't even want to bother with you.
And over the last 9 weeks in the Margaret Rudin trial, we have witnessed His Honor lose his patience on several occasions, most often outside the presence of the jury, thanks in large part to Rudin's defense attorney Michael Amador.
You're going to bring it up, this junk up in court. Is that what you're telling me? Anything she tells you, you're going to bring it up when you're not supposed to. Due to your constant misstatements of facts, you have lost all honor before this court.
And through all the outbursts and heated exchanges, Judge Bonaventure has sent a clear and steady message.
I'm going to exercise my discretion as a judge. I've been a judge for 22 years, and I'm not going to stop now.
Scott Haas, News 3.
Now, it seems Judge Bonaventure has had more than his share of high-profile cases come through his courtroom compared to other judges, but it's really not by choice. Judges are simply given cases on a rotational basis.
A maid at the Maxim Hotel near the Strip found a body wrapped in a plastic bag today while she was cleaning a room. Police believe the person was murdered, but they don't know yet if the victim was a hotel employee or a guest. The coroner will determine the exact cause of death. Workers at a construction site made a gruesome discovery today. They dug up bones and a skull on Lake Mead near J Street. No one knows how long the bones have been there. Metro's homicide unit has been on the scene all day watching as the crews continue to dig to see if they find any more bones.
You'll no longer see Metro officers with tattoos or body piercings. Last month, Metro initiated a new policy that prohibits visible tattoos and piercings in an effort to make their staff look more professional. Only female officers may wear earrings. Officers with tattoos already must wear long-sleeve shirts or long pants to cover them. Police unions are against this new policy, saying it punishes the members.
Might remember Spring Mountain Road, especially out west, was widened and repaved just 4 years ago.
And how about this? It's all torn up again. Tom Hawley's up in Sky 3 to tell us why. Tom?
Yeah, it's a rather unpleasant case of deja vu for motorists in this area. Look at the eastbound traffic here on Spring Mountain Road at Wynn. It is down to a single lane, and it's that way for a couple of miles, actually, all the way from Jones down through Valley View and beyond. Well, the repaving that took place a few years ago should have lasted for several years. Unfortunately, the mixture wasn't right. The contractor just apparently didn't have the asphalt quite up to grade, and the county has been talking with the contractor for a couple of years. Finally got him to go in there and do it again. Now, one piece of good news, it's at no additional expense to the taxpayers. The contractor is picking up the cost of it, but this will last till about the end of next week. And as if this wasn't bad enough, there is also an accident just getting cleared out of the way, and in fact, it is gone. It was here just about 30 seconds ago. It's now cleared out of the way. Tom Hawley reporting from Sky 3. Back to you, Jim.
All right, here we go again. Thank you, Tom. They are accused of being poorly organized and mismanaged, and now the Las Vegas chapter of the NAACP has lost its charter for the next year. The controversy stems from local chapter president Gene Collins beating out Lonnie Chaney in an election back in November. Despite the fact that the NAACP's decision cannot be appealed, local members are meeting tonight to discuss their options. They'll be getting together at 6:30 at the office on MLK.
They're normal kids who made a stupid mistake. That's what the attorney for two teenagers involved in a dangerous stunt says. We want to warn you that the video you're about to see is a bit hard to watch. This is home video showing a 16-year-old boy getting hit by a car going 30 to 40 miles an hour. He survived with only some broken bones. 2 boys in the car are charged with felony endangerment. And we told you that those kids were trying out for the MTV show Jackass, but the attorney claims they had no intention of sending the tape in to MTV.
It's time again to save you some money with what may sound like a strange question. When was the last time you crawled up into your attic? It's probably dusty and cramped up there, but a minute or two might reveal a big energy waster. We have teamed up with Nevada Power and their energy expert Jim Nolan to find power savers, ways to cut your electric bill. We grabbed a ladder and went up to check the crawl space over my ceiling.
What we're looking for up here is just the insulation level. It looks like there's about an R30 up here. And also what I wanted to see while I was up here is the duct system and see if I can visually see any loose joints or anything like that that might cause you to lose conditioned air or draw in unconditioned air through the return. But everything that I can see from here looks pretty good.
When he said R30, that's a technical term in the construction biz. He's talking about a blanket of insulation just over a foot thick, maybe 13 inches. Anything less and you are sending cool air right up through your roof. If you check yours and find you don't have enough, you should consider getting bids on adding more. It's kind of one of those spend money to save money deals. You'd make up the cost through savings on your power bill. You can buy bags of insulation and try and do it yourself, but that is a messy job. For more energy-saving tips and a do-it-yourself home energy audit from Nevada Power, go to our website at kvbc.com and click on the Saving You Money button.
The interesting about that story is that many people may not know that Jim Snyder shot that video himself because our photographer was a little too claustrophobic
He didn't want to go up in the attic. I said, all right, I'll go up there with the guy. It worked out all right.
Mr. Versatility, that's what you are.
That's it.
Betting on college sports is legal here in Nevada right now.
But a new push on Capitol Hill that started today could change that for good.
A ban on legal sports betting will only drive more money underground, lining the pockets of the Al Capones of this world.
We'll tell you why a group of coaches wants to do away with college betting for good in the Silver State.
Plus, a teenage gun fanatic is terrorizing his neighborhood. Our News 3 investigators dig deeper into why some say he may take his anger out at school. Coming up on News 3, where news comes first.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is News 3 at 5.
A Northwest neighborhood is dealing with a terror. A teenage gun fanatic is shooting up homes and killing animals.
Some neighbors are worried they might be his next target, or maybe he'll set his sights on his high school.
News 3 investigator Darcy joins us live near Charleston and Antelope Way with the exclusive story of a boy some are calling the teenage terrorist. Darcy?
Nina, area neighbors say the signs outside this house welcoming visitors and proclaiming home sweet home are deceiving. That's because this house has become a form of prison, confining a high school student on house arrest. And his neighbors say his alleged crimes have left them feeling like prisoners in their homes.
Shadow's like a son to me. He's been everywhere, backpacking in the Rocky Mountains, up to my property up north. Used to take him out onto my boat quite often. He was there all the time, everywhere.
But now, memories and dog tags are all Mike Pasick has left of his best friend.
It's sad. It's very sad. I mean, it's one thing to lose a pet, but to violently, unnecessarily, senselessly lose a pet like that, it was very hard.
Bring Dad to talk. Come on. Get it. That's my boy.
Bob DeFrancesco knows how his neighbors feel.
My dogs are like my children. I don't know if I could control myself if I was in Mike's shoes.
So what's happening in this quiet Northwest neighborhood?
You get teenage kids and younger kids that do things that kids do, but shooting guns in the backyard and shooting animals isn't something that kids do.
Except for Nathan Combs, a 19-year-old Cimarron High School student and gun fanatic who wasn't satisfied shooting at hay bales and plastic animals.
I came home from work to find my dog laying dead in the backyard, and my other dog shot up. She had a hole in her leg and her stomach. I walked outside and looked and noticed that my house has also been shot up.
According to this police report, Nathan Combs and his younger brother went into their backyard to target shoot with a scope-mounted .22 caliber rifle. But the cops say Combs admitted he instead put his neighbor's 2 dogs in its crosshairs.
And the reason he gave was that he wanted to shoot a moving target.
This bullet hole is evidence of the attack. It's rimmed with tufts of hair that the .22 slug picked up as it passed through the dog's stomach.
And the bullet was in front of my couch, in my living room.
Neighbors Bob and Amy found bullet holes in their wind chimes, Eve, and their doggy door, too.
Hi, Bear Bear.
As for Bear Bear, she'll no longer come out of the house.
Doing okay. She's still shaking.
The fact that the 19-year-old Combs is still in high school leaves his neighbors fearing Las Vegas could be the next Santee, California, or Littleton, Colorado.
If you're disturbed enough to shoot at dogs, When does it come you're disturbed enough to shoot at the kid who picked on you?
Combs' attendance at Cimarron isn't the only troubling connection to a local high school.
This child's parent is a teacher.
Western High School, where Combs' stepfather, Keith Foster, is a teacher and soccer coach.
If he can't contain his own two, how is he supposed to teach the others? What kind of role model and what kind of people is that?
We tried to find out.
Nathan, are you home? It's Darcy Spears from Channel 3.
No answer there, and nobody returned our phone calls for comment. We did catch Combs in his backyard, but he ducked inside when he saw our camera. He couldn't hide in court, though, at a preliminary hearing that was emotional for everyone, including Judge Deborah Lippis, who bound Combs over for trial.
I believe the acts were malicious. I find your client's actions vulnerable, absolutely vulnerable.
Even so, the courts may not be able to deliver the justice Pasek and his neighbors seek. Although Combs is facing felony charges for shooting into their homes, he only faces misdemeanor charges for shooting and killing the animals.
I think that's disgusting. I think that should be the felony. I mean, shooting into a home is definitely a pretty desperate act, but to just randomly destroy somebody's dog for pleasure, that's definitely, I would have to say, the most bothersome thing to us.
While Mike Pasek waits to see what justice brings, he's taking matters into his own hands with these signs he's placed on the front and back of his house, warning other families to be careful in their own neighborhood, in their own homes.
I do not feel safe living in my home. I don't feel safe sleeping. I don't feel safe cooking dinner. I don't know what's going to happen.
Some legislators want a say in what's going to happen. The Senate Judiciary Committee recently passed Senate Bill 62, and now it rests with the Assembly. That bill would increase penalties for certain mistreatment of animals from a misdemeanor to a Category D felony. That contains a mandatory 1 to 4 year prison sentence and a fine of up to $10,000. As the law stands right now, even if Nathan Combs is convicted of everything that he's charged with, he could avoid spending any time in prison at all. Reporting live near Antelope in Charleston, I'm Darcy Spears. And Nina, you know very well why kids who abuse animals can be cause for other concern.
Yeah, we know that, Darcy, because experts have established a direct link between animal abuse in kids and future violence toward humans. In fact, authorities say every kid that's committed a deadly school shooting in the last 4 years has a history of animal abuse.
Dr. Jim Siebert joins us now, and it just keeps warming up out there, doesn't it?
That's right, shifting from spring to summer, and I think about 3 days of spring is all we're going to get out of this year.
High gear.
No kidding. Let's take a look outside right now. Lots of sunshine still going on. Here's a look from our Mandalay Bay camp. Do you see any clouds out there? Well, there haven't been a lot to tell you. 92 degrees right now, our current temperature, 18% relative humidity, so it's warm. In fact, it's hot and it's dry. And don't look for any big changes in our forecast for a few days yet to come. So there's the conditions at the airport. What's happening at our live WeatherNet station at Spring Mountain and Jones in the southwest part of town. 91 degrees, so we're looking at 90s all over the place. Northeast winds up to 12 miles an hour. A little breeze is actually a good thing right now because it's just so warm out there. That breeze helps you cool down a little bit. Well, we're looking at the same kind of allergy report as yesterday. Tree pollen is still high and grass is low. Weeds right in the middle there at moderate. I expect this to switch around here as we head towards the weekend. I think the trees will start to go down to low and the grass will go into high as we continue to see these dry conditions. But overall, I've been having some problems, so don't forget to take your medicine there for your allergies. Okay, the temperatures now across the valley. Look at this, all these 90s. Temperatures about 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of the year. And that's kind of been the normal trend lately. Right now, 65 up on the mountain. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, we are actually looking at a few showers just to the north of us. There is a cold front that's passing to the north and not really a lot of cool air making it into the state at all. And none of this is making it down here to the south, but we have seen a few showers in northern Nevada, also up into Idaho in the northern part of the country. See a few showers also developing around the Great Lakes, nothing too intense. And finally, some quiet weather in the East Coast and some nice weather out here to the west. You see a few showers down around Arizona and New Mexico tonight as well. So 63 for our low temperature tonight, 93 for the high tomorrow. So right back where we were tomorrow as we were today, although pretty nice out there for tonight. 35 for the low on the mountain, 65 for the high. So kind of chilly if you're going to go up in the mountains to start with, but then you're going to need to take your coat off later in the day. 65 for the low out the lake. 95 for the high, but southwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, so we may get a little bit of white cap activity going on in the afternoon hours. There you see the 5-day outlook. All a bunch of the same sort of things. 90s for our highs, 60s for our lows. A little breezy on Saturday, but I don't think it'll cause many problems for us. Just enjoy the heat while we have it. Jim and Nina, back to you.
We will, Dr. Jim. Thank you. Betting on your alma mater for the big game may soon be a thing of the past.
We'll tell you why some coaches on Capitol Hill are fighting to do away with college sports betting. Next on News 3, where news comes first.
If some coaches and members of Congress have their way, betting on college sports could be outlawed all across the country, including in local sports books. U.S. senators heard testimony today for and against a proposed ban on college betting. Some coaches say gambling taints the game and tempts players. Others say it corrupts college sports overall. But supporters of legal college betting claim it prevents point-shaving schemes and is a much better option than illegal bookies who would get more business if Congress passes this ban. Nevada Senator John Ensign is sponsoring a bill that addresses the illegal betting but leaves sports books open. Lawmakers have tried to ban college betting in the past, but those attempts failed.
Tomorrow, you may feel an earthquake here in the valley.
But that shaking will come from bombs. We'll tell you why an exercise at Nellis may rattle some nerves here in the valley. Coming up next.
If the ground shakes under your feet tomorrow, don't panic. Nellis Air Force Base will be conducting firepower demonstrations out near Indian Springs. When they did the same thing back in February, explosions from the training exercises, like you see there, could be felt all across the valley. Some people even complained of damage to their homes, including cracked windows and stucco. Those exercises will take place in the late morning hours tomorrow, just so you're forewarned. We'll be right back.
More stories. John McCain in his own words on the Bob Kerrey episode, and Lifeline going to extremes. One woman's fight to stay alive next on Nightly News.